All right, what's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome back again for another video. And somebody requested some trade packages for Kevin Durant, so we'll take a look at that right after this. Bulls Nation, so it's no secret. Every team on the NBA is looking at Kevin Durant right now and saying, I want that guy. I want to have that because every team could use a Kevin Durant. He's what, top 5 player in the game right now. Some people call him as the best player in the game as of this moment. I personally don't agree with that, but he's certainly top 5 in my book. He has a unique skill set that is fit for today's game or any other era's game. He's a unicorn in a sense. He's 7 feet tall, can shoot, do all those stuff. Now, the question is, there's a lot of teams that has a package for Durant, and we saw what Rudy Gobert just commanded, which is crazy. 5 first rounders. I mean, they gave up 4, but they also gave away their first rounder this year, so that's considered 5. Would you go that lengths? I mean, can you imagine? That's Rudy Gobert. What would Kevin Durant, what would he demand? Now, for the Nets, it's different than the Utah Jazz. The Nets needs to be competitive. It can't be just all picks, kind of like, because that's basically what happened for Utah is they never got a legit good player. I mean, Patrick Beverley's a good player, but not an all-star caliber. But for Brooklyn, they need an all-star because they want to be competitive. They can't tank because all of their draft picks belongs to the Houston Rockets. So there's no incentive for them to tank. That's why they want to remain competitive, but at the same time get young talent. So if I was Brooklyn, I want an all-star caliber player so I can compete. A young talent, somebody who has a potential to be a star or an all-star, and draft picks. And I believe the Bulls can provide that. The question is, what would be too much to give up for Kevin Durant? Because as good as Kevin Durant is, and he's one of the best in the world, you have him in your roster. You are a contender, regardless of what that means. Is it a first round out, second round out? But you do always have a chance when you are acquiring somebody like Kevin Durant. Now, I put him some packages here that might be, realistic, might not be not. So depending on how you look at this, whatever it is that I'm going to put here, because I used ESPN Trade Machine. So the picks, just pretend we're going to give away 4 picks, including the Portland first. And the other 3 are unprotected because that's what Rudy Gobert commanded. And let's be honest, that's what Kevin Durant is going to command. Whether we're going to give it or not is up for debate. But let's pretend that is the case, right? So with Kevin Durant, I would say one of the, let's go with the worst first. Worst case scenario is that the Brooklyn Nets would demand a haul of, DeMar DeRozan because they want an all-star level player, Kobe White, Patrick Williams. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. And on top of this, I'm telling you, we are going to give up some picks, okay? That's not even a question. We are going to give up picks. There's no way that we're not gonna give up for first rounder. So we're gonna give them all of our young assets, which is Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu. I have high hopes for those two, to be quite honest with you. And DeMar DeRozan, our MVP candidate, with 4 picks. If this is what they're asking for, not gonna lie to you, probably won't do it. I probably won't, because now you're mortgaging your future for a 34-year-old player, albeit he is gonna put us over the top. But what if he doesn't? What if he gets hurt? Because he does have some injury history. Now you're mortgaging your entire future and your present. So what happens if Kevin Durant goes down? So now you're putting your team on Vooch and Zach LaVine's hands, which is, they're good players, but now you mortgage your future and your present. So I don't know if that's worth it in that regard. If that was the asking price, I have high hopes for Ayo, to be quite honest with you. So I probably won't do that trade. Just there's too much risk. And Durant has been, been injured a lot lately. So I don't know if that I'll be on board with that trade completely. I would understand if we're going to do that, but losing Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu and 4 first round picks and our MVP. That's a lot, in my opinion, um, to just give away for uncertainty. Now, the best case scenario for the Bulls is this, which is I highly doubt. I highly doubt the Brooklyn Nets are going to go for this, but hey, we got to shoot our shot, right? Which is Nikola Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, Kobe White, and Tony Bradley. No one would want to take Tony Bradley. And Kobe White is a giveaway. We're giving away Kobe White for a first rounder anyway. And mind you, all these, like I said earlier, they are attached with picks. Now, why did I put Lonzo Ball in there? Because they needed some, we got to give away talent. I mean, Vooch is an all-star, a former all-star, but let's be totally honest here. Vooch, Kobe White, Tony Bradley, and 4 picks are not gonna cut it. I'd rather include Lonzo Ball than Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu, to be quite honest with you. Because Lonzo, there's also uncertainty with his, legs. There's a lot of uncertainty with his injuries. Plus, next year we're gonna have to pay Ayo. So, I'm just preparing for that. So I'd rather give away Lonzo Ball right now than Ayo and Pat, because that is your future right there. Especially if you're giving away 4 picks, you might want to keep your present and your future in those 2. Whether they turn out to be anything or not, but at least you're clinging to that hope that they might be. Although with that package, that is the best case scenario. If that works out, man, I would do that in a heartbeat. But to be quite honest with you, I don't think Brooklyn's going to fall for that. There's like 25 teams that can beat that easily. So now the most realistic trade for me. And this is not the best. This is not the worst. It's in my opinion, I'm thinking here as a Brooklyn, whether you agree to this trade or not, this is what I would say. If you're the Bulls, you might have to think about this, right? Like, why not? So DeMar, Lonzo, Patrick, and Kobe. So who did we take out? We took out Ayo. And basically swapped him with Lonzo Ball. At least you kept one pretty good player on your team. And I have high hopes for Ayo. Lonzo, you put Lonzo in there. In the Brooklyn's eyes, you roll with DeRozan. With Lonzo as your point guard, DeRozan maybe your shooting guard, and maybe you can put you build around Lonzo and who's that guy from Ben Simmons, right? Now you still got Patrick Williams, who's a young stud. Kobe White. You can do whatever you want with Kobe White, whatever they want to choose, but I think Brooklyn's point of view, they are still pretty competitive, and they might even crack the playoffs if they have this lineup. And to be quite honest with you, it is a pretty good lineup if you are Brooklyn. Maybe the best you would get as far as combination of future talent in Patrick Williams and Kobe White. I don't know. I'm just throwing Kobe White's name. And then an MVP caliber, at least last year, and DeRozan, and a young talent, Alonzo. Remember, Alonzo is only, 23 years old? So you have the combination of both. Is this the best option for the Bulls? Of course not. The second one is the best case scenario for the Bulls. But let's be honest, Vooch and Lonzo is not going to cut it. It's just not. So, and this is Kevin Durant. Maybe it will. If it will, I'll be the happiest guy in Chicago to not give away Patrick Williams and DeMar DeRozan. Trust me. I just don't think that's feasible. But let me know in the comments how you feel about this trades. Are you guys going to do this? Which package? Which one, the most realistic one? Is my take the most realistic one in your opinion? Or do we need to add more? Do we need to add more from those? And if we do, is it even worth it at that price point? Let me know in the comments. And I'm going to make 2 more videos about Kevin Durant, why we should get him and why we shouldn't get him as well, what the pros and cons is. And, we'll talk about that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.